Hey, it's Beth. Welcome to 2 Kings 22:11. When the king heard the words of the book of the law, he tore his clothes. Reading the Bible to you in a year with Apocrypha. Today we are in Numbers chapters 28 to 31. The Lord said to Moses, "Give the Israelites this commandment. At the prescribed times, you will be careful to present to me the food offerings that are due me, oblations of pleasing aroma to me. Each morning and evening you will tell them, therefore, this is the oblation which you will offer to the Lord, 2 unblemished yearling lambs each day as a regular burnt offering one lamb in the morning and the other during the evening twilight, each with a grain offering, 1/10 of an ephah of bran flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of oil of crushed olives. This is a regular burnt offering that was made at Mount Sinai for a pleasing aroma and oblation to the Lord. And as the libation for the first lamb, you will make a libation to the Lord in the sanctuary of 1/4 of a hin of strong drink. The other lamb you will offer during the evening twilight, making the same grain offering and the same libation as in the morning, as an oblation of pleasing aroma to the Lord. On the Sabbath day, 2 unblemished yearling lambs with a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of bran flour mixed with oil and its libation. This is the Sabbath burnt offering each Sabbath, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its libation. On your new moons, you will offer as a burnt offering to the Lord 2 bulls of the herd, 1 ram, and 7 unblemished yearling lambs, with 3/10 of an ephah of bran flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for each bull, 2/10 of an ephah of bran flour mixed with oil as the grain offering for the ram, and 1/10 of an ephah of bran flour mixed with oil as the grain offering for each lamb, a burnt offering with a pleasing aroma, an oblation to the Lord. Their libations will consist of 1/2 a hin of wine for each bull, 1/3 of a hin for the ram, and 1/4 of a hin for each lamb. This is the burnt offering for the new moon, for every new moon through the months of the year. Moreover, there will be 1 goat for a purification offering to the Lord. It will be offered in addition to the regular burnt offering and its libation. The 14th day of the first month is the Passover to the Lord, and the 15th day of this month is a pilgrimage feast. For 7 days unleavened bread is to be eaten. On the first day you will declare a holy day, and you shall do no heavy work. You will offer an oblation, a burnt offering to the Lord, 2 bulls of the herd, 1 ram, and 7 yearling lambs that you are sure are unblemished. Their grain offerings will be of bran flour mixed with oil. You will offer 3/10 of an ephah for each bull and 2/10 for the ram. You will offer 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs and 1 goat as a purification offering to make atonement for yourselves. These offerings you will make in addition to the morning burnt offering, which is part of the regular burnt offering. You'll make exactly the same offerings each day for 7 days as food offerings, oblations of pleasing aroma to the Lord. They will be offered in addition to the regular burnt offering with its libation. On the 7th day you will declare a holy day. You shall do no heavy work. On the day of first fruits, your feast of weeks, when you present to the Lord an offering of new grain, you will declare a holy day. You shall do no heavy work. You will offer burnt offering for a pleasing aroma to the Lord, 2 bulls of the herd, 1 ram, 7 yearling lambs that you are sure are unblemished. Their grain offerings will be of bran flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each bull, 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. 1 goat will be for a purification offering to make atonement for yourselves. You will make these offerings together with their libations, in addition to the regular burnt offerings with its grain offering. In the 7th month, on the first day, you will declare a holy day and do no heavy work. It shall be a day on which you sound the trumpet. You will offer a burnt offering for a pleasing aroma to the Lord. 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram, and 7 unblemished yearling lambs. Their grain offerings will be of bran flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. 1 goat will be a purification offering to make atonement for yourselves. These are in addition to the burnt offerings for the new moon with its grain offering, and in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering, together with the libations prescribed for them for a pleasing aroma, an oblation to the Lord. On the 10th day of this 7th month, you will declare a holy day. Humble yourselves and do no sort of work. You will offer a burnt offering to the Lord, a pleasing aroma, 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram, and 7 yearling lambs that you are sure are unblemished. The grain offerings of bran flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for 1 ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. 1 goat will be the purification offering. These are in addition to the purification offering for purging, the regular burnt offering with its grain offering, and their libations. On the 15th day of the 7th month, you will declare holy days. You shall do no heavy work. For the following 7 days, you will celebrate a pilgrimage feast to the Lord. You will offer a burnt offering, an oblation of pleasing aroma to the Lord, 13 bulls of the herd, 2 rams, and 14 yearling lambs that are unblemished. Their grain offerings will be of bran flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of ephah for each of the 13 bulls, 2/10 for each of the 2 rams, and 1/10 for each of the 14 lambs. 1 goat will be a purification offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and libation. On the 2nd day, 12 bulls of the herd, 2 rams, and 14 unblemished yearling lambs, with the grain offerings and libations for the bulls, rams, and lambs in their prescribed number, as well as 1 goat as a purification offering, besides the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and libation. On the 3rd day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 unblemished yearling lambs, with the grain offerings and libations for the bulls, rams, and lambs in their prescribed number, as well as 1 goat for a purification offering, besides the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and libation. On the 4th day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 unblemished yearling lambs, the grain offerings and libations for the bulls, rams, and lambs in their prescribed number, as well as 1 goat as a purification offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and libation. On the 5th day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 unblemished yearling lambs, with the grain offerings and libations for the bulls, rams, and lambs in their prescribed number, as well as 1 goat as a purification offering, besides the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and libation. On the 6th day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 unblemished yearling lambs, with the grain offerings and libations for the bulls, rams, and lambs in their prescribed number, as well as 1 goat as a purification offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and libation. On the 7th day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 unblemished yearling lambs, with the grain offerings and libations for the bulls, lambs, and rams in their prescribed number, as well as 1 goat as a purification offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and libation. On the 8th day, you will hold a public assembly. You shall do no heavy work. You will offer a burnt offering, an oblation of pleasing aroma to the Lord, 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 unblemished yearling lambs, with the grain offerings and libations for the bulls, rams, and lambs in their prescribed number, as well as 1 goat as a purification offering, besides the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and libation. These are the offerings you will make to the Lord in your festivals, besides your votive or voluntary offerings or of burnt offerings, grain offerings, libations, and communion offerings. So Moses instructed the Israelites exactly as the Lord had commanded him. Moses said to the heads of the Israelite tribes, "This is what the Lord has commanded. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or binds himself under oath to a pledge, he shall not violate his word, but must fulfill exactly the promise he has uttered. When a woman makes a vow to the Lord or binds herself to a pledge, while still in her father's house in her youth, her father learns of how her vow or pledge to which she bound herself and says nothing to her about it, then any vow or pledge to which she bound herself remains valid. But if on the day he learns of it her father opposes her, then any vow or any pledge to which she bound herself becomes invalid, and the Lord will release her from it, since her father opposed her. If she marries while under a vow or under a rash pledge to which she bound herself, and her husband learns of it, yet says nothing to her the day he learns of it, then the vows, pledges to which she bound herself remain valid. But if on the day her husband learns of it he opposes her, he thereby annuls the vow she made or the rash pledge to which she bound herself, and the Lord will release her from it. The vow of a widow or of a divorced woman, however, any pledge to which a woman binds herself is valid. If it is in her husband's house that she makes a vow or binds herself under oath to a pledge, and her husband learns of it and yet says nothing to her to oppose it, then all her vows remain valid, or any pledge to which she has bound herself. But if on the day he learns of them, her husband annuls them, then whatever she has expressly promised in her vows or in her pledge becomes invalid, since her husband has annulled them. The Lord will release her from them. Any vow or pledge that she makes under oath to humble herself, her husband may either confirm or annul. But if her husband, day after day, says nothing to her at all, he thereby confirms all her vows and all the pledges incumbent upon her. He has confirmed them because on the day he learned of them, he said nothing to her. If, however, he knows them some time after he first learned of them, he will be responsible for her guilt. These are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses concerning a husband and his wife, as well as a father and his daughter, while she is still in her youth in her father's house. The book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 18 through chapter 2, verse 12. Now this is how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. When his mother Mary was betrothed to Joseph, but before they lived together, she was found with child through the Holy Spirit. Joseph, her husband, since he was a righteous man, yet unwilling to expose her to shame, decided to divorce her quietly. Such was his intention when, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary your wife into your home, for it is through the Holy Spirit that this child has been conceived in her. She will bear a son, and you are to name him Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. Behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall name him Emmanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph awoke, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him and took his wife into his home. He had no relations with her until she bore a son, and he named him Jesus. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of King Herod, behold, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star at its rising and have come to do him homage. When King Herod heard this, he was greatly troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Assembling all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They said to him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it has been written through the prophet, And you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, since from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod called the Magi secretly and ascertained from them the time of the star's appearance. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the child. When you have found him, bring me word, that I too may go and pay him homage. After their audience with the king, they set out, and behold, the star that they had seen at its rising preceded them until it came and stopped over the place where the child was. They were overjoyed at seeing the star, and on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother. They prostrated themselves and did him homage. Then they opened their treasures and offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed for their own country by another way. Thus ends the reading for today. Never walk alone.